Hey guys, it's Brandy Carson with the Help Club for Moms, and you can check us out at helpclubformoms.com. Today, I want to talk to you about 5 great, easy, helpful baking tips. 1, I don't know how many of you out there like to make yeast breads, but my family, especially my husband, loves homemade bread, whether that's cinnamon rolls or breadsticks or just dinner rolls. We make it pretty often, but sometimes when I'm preparing dinner and even when we have guests over, I kind of forget to start them ahead of time and they don't have enough time to rise. And I've recently found a great tip, now you might think this is a little silly, to help your yeast rolls rise quickly, and I'm talking like in 15 minutes. So if you set your dishwasher on the dry cycle, you can pop those bad boys on the rack and let them go for 10-15 minutes, watch them, and that moist dry heat will rise them up like so fast, and they'll be ready to go in the oven. I know it sounds weird. I've even maybe tossed them in there while the dishes are clean, but they were on, top, they were good. But I'm not kidding, like it saved me hours because we live in Colorado. There's no moisture and there's no heat. So it sometimes takes a really long time for yeast rolls to rise. And man, I figured this out in like 15 minutes. We were having a whole bunch of guests over and I'm like, I'm never gonna have these done. And bam, and they were so light and fluffy. I'm not even kidding you guys. It was awesome. Next, if you're making any kind of bread recipe and you have the ingredients on hand, whether it is yeast rolls or just, banana bread or anything, muffins, if you have it, double the recipe, cook them, and pop the extras in your freezer, and then you'll have them for, a last minute breakfast or last minute meal, and you can just pull those out and let them de-thaw at their own rate on the counter. If it's like banana bread or something, you can even pre-slice them and pull slices one at a time out as you want and just pop them in the microwave. Now, for cinnamon rolls or yeast rolls, you can do it 2 ways. You can either go ahead and pre-bake them, and so they're easier to, just de-thaw, or you can put them in not cooked and then just set them out and let them rise on their own rate, and then it'll be like fresh baked that day. They're still good when you bake them, and I often go ahead and just bake them because I like to have stuff last minute, being able to pull it out ready to go. But baking them and having them go, it's awesome. It tastes great, and it doesn't take much extra effort to just go ahead and make a double batch, and you have it in the freezer. Another great tip is we like to make pies, especially chicken pot pies, savory pies. But you have to usually stick your pie crust in the freezer or in the fridge to keep it cold, because a key to a great pie crust and have a nice flaky pie crust is having it super cold when you pop it in the oven. Well, sometimes I don't have time to make a pie crust an hour before I need to use it. So I found a great tip is make your pie crust, and sometimes my hands are really hot and they melt the butter and so it gets all squishy. Make your pie crust, roll it out, put it in your pie pan, go ahead and scallop the edges if you don't have a top crust, and stick it in the freezer for like 10 minutes and it hardens it. You can put your toppings in and stick it right in the oven, and that crust is so flaky and so buttery, I'm not even kidding you. Now, if you have a top crust, all you have to do is you roll it out and stick it between 2 sheets of plastic wrap and lay it flat in your freezer, and then you can lay that on and let it just de-thaw a little bit to kind of, do the edges, and it's awesome, guys. Another tip is when you're making pie crust or even like sugar cookie doughs that you have to roll out and flour the surface on, sometimes that can make it extra powdery and leave like a funny taste in your mouth. You can either spray your counter just with aerosol spray, and so it doesn't stick at all. It's one of my favorite tips, but if you're doing a sweet dough like sugar cookies or a pie crust that's going for a dessert pie, you can use powdered sugar instead, and it gives it a nice sweet taste instead of that powdery flakiness that flour gives instead. And my last tip I've mentioned in other videos before, but if you're making cookie dough, double or triple that bad boy. I mean, we have 5 kids, so we double and triple cookies a lot. And go ahead and scoop up and ball them all, and you can have little cookie dough balls, lay them flat on a sheet tray, and freeze them like that. And then once they're solid, you can put them in a gallon baggie, and you have cookie dough ready to go to have fresh cookies whenever you want. We'll bake however many we want that evening, and then we'll stick the rest in. And instead of having 2 or 3 day old cookies you're trying to hurry up and use so they don't get wasted and stale, we just pull the cookie dough out, let it de-thaw for a couple minutes, and have fresh cookies whenever we want. And it goes for so many cookies. Drop cookies are the best, but really it's amazing. And honestly, the frozen cookie dough balls are pretty good to eat just by themselves straight out of the freezer. And a little treat for mom when she's having a stressful afternoon. But anyways, I hope you like some of these baking tips today, and we'll talk to you later, guys. Bye.